Welcome. I'm Nina Burgess, Programs and Audience Engagement Intern at the Colby Museum of Art in Waterville, Maine. This is Artful Movements. Artful Movements is a part of the museum's wellness initiative under the larger program Let Art Inspire. In this program, we select an artwork from our collection and we pair it with a yoga pose. Before we dive into the yoga portion of this program, let's first look at the artwork that inspired this month's theme, Let's Imagine. Today we look at the work by Zilia Sánchez, Lunar, negro con tatuaje, Black Moon with Tattoo, 1975. Zilia Sánchez is a Cuban artist born in 1926 who has lived and worked in San Juan, Puerto Rico since the early 1970s. Before establishing her 60-year career as a painter, sculpturist, and printmaker, Sánchez developed her artistry as a student at the Escuela Nacional de Bellas Artes de San Alejandro in Habana, Cuba. In the early stages of her career, much of her work focused on set designs and paintings for radical theater groups in her home country until the Cuban Revolution of 1953, which forced her to immigrate to New York. Her art style has been described as minimalist and abstract, as she often works with muted colors, silhouettes, and protrusive outforms. Themes of sensuality, femininity, and language often can be found in her mixed media sculptures. The first major solo exhibition of Sánchez's work, Soy Isla, I Am an Island, was presented in 2019 at the Phillips Collection in Washington, D.C. Her work has gained international recognition across Latin America, the United States, and Europe, and is a part of public collections all over the world. The artwork we are going to be looking at today is Lunar, negro con tatuaje, which translates to Black Moon with Tattoo, 1975. This piece is an example of Zilia Sánchez's distinctive approach to minimal abstractionism, featuring a stretched canvas over a hand-molded wooden armature. The painted surface is dark. In person, it looks like a deep blue-black color. The muted color palette of this work allows us to pay close attention to the pointed shapes in the canvas and appreciate its distinctive sensual form. Themes of heroism, intimacy, and vulnerability seem to be represented in this abstract depiction of the female body with references to female warriors and the moon. White lines can be found throughout the canvas, creating circular paths around the pointed shapes. The stretched canvas also encourages us to explore the tension between the exterior body and the internal self, while unpacking the gender binary of masculine and feminine form. The accompanying yoga pose for Lunar, negro con tatuaje is Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. It is a test of posture and balance. The half moon pose combines calm and fiery energy from the moon and sun as you position your body downwards while remaining stable through your arms and legs. A properly executed half moon pose will improve your coordination, strengthen your legs, and aid in focus. The pointing gesture of the yoga pose resembles that of the pointed, stretched canvas of Sánchez's painting. The yoga pose requires at once calmness for balance and intensity to hold the posture. Likewise, Sánchez's painting challenges and demands viewers to question our understanding of traditional conceptions of femininity, yet it exudes a sense of gentleness by portraying an intimate abstraction of the female body. The balance required by the yoga pose further reflects the balance between shapes, forms, and lines on Sánchez's canvas, without overbearing the composition. Now, let's visit our partners at School Street Yoga who will lead us in our yoga practice.
Welcome to the yoga portion of Artful Movements. I'm Kathleen Haberstock, and we're here at School Street Yoga. Today, let's use our imaginations as we listen to some poetry. You've already been using your imagination looking at Sanchez's Black Moon with Tattoo, which is a very unusual three-dimensional work, and might have gotten you thinking about the idea of femininity with the shapes that she creates with her lunar landscape. The moon is often thought of as feminine, and we will be looking at a pose today, Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. This pose can be challenging, so we'll be opening up the hips, getting ourselves warmed up and ready to try it, and we'll also be doing several variations, including on our backs and at the wall, so that everyone will have access to this pose. But first, we'll just close our eyes and begin to go inward. Begin to notice the breath. Notice the inhale, notice the exhale. Just notice what you've brought to your mat today. On your next exhale, can you just let it go? Anything on your mind, can you let it go on your next exhale? And now inhale deeply through the nose. Hold at the top. Open the mouth and let it go with a sigh. Perhaps that will allow you to drop in a little more easily. As you continue breathing here, lengthening the breath, I'll read to you a poem. This is a poem by Hafiz called With That Moon Language. Admit something. Everyone you see, say to them, love me. Of course, you do not do this out loud. Otherwise, someone would call the cops. Still, though, think about this great pull in us to connect. Why not become the one who lives with a full moon in each eye, that is always saying, with the sweet moon language, what every other eye in the world is dying to hear? Big inhale through the nose. Let it go out the mouth. Slowly allow the eyes to open. We're going to be doing a little breath work before we get moving, alternate nostril breathing. And this is said to balance the right and left sides of the brain. So please take your peace fingers and bring them right between the eyebrows. And you can just make a little circular rotation there, relaxing that place between the eyebrows. Thumb is on one side of the nostril, ring finger and pinky is on the other. And you can stay like this for the breath, or you can tuck the peace fingers in and make a little lobster claw. Thumb will close off right nostril. Inhale left, please. Hold. Exhale right. Inhale right. Hold. Exhale left. Inhale left. Hold. Exhale right. Inhale right. hold. Exhale left. Inhale left. Hold. Exhale right. Inhale right. Hold. Exhale left. You'll continue on your own for a moment. At the top of the inhale, you hold, and then exhale on the other side. You can lengthen the breath on the exhale. You could lengthen the holds. No rush to get there at all, but next time you're exhaling left, allow the hand to come down. See what it's like to breathe through both nostrils. Just noticing the effects of that pranayama. Studies have been done that say it makes you more alert. And it certainly relaxes the nervous system. So just notice what it's done for you. Letting your hands come by your side. We're going to inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, lower the arms. Chin might lower. Could you fill belly, ribs, and chest on the inhale? And lower the arms, releasing belly, releasing ribs, and finally the upper chest. Continuing that in your own time. Next time the arms are up, no rush to get there, but we'll backstroke the arms behind you, clasp the hands, lift through the heart, big inhale. Exhale, we'll bring the hands towards the right, so the knuckles are moving to the right hip. The right elbow juts out a little, and let that right ear move towards the right shoulder, and just breathe into that left side of your neck for 3 big breaths. Letting that go, coming up to center. Take hands to center and then just switch the clasp of the hands behind you. Take the knuckles to the other side. Allow the left ear to drop towards the left shoulder. Breathe into the right side of the neck. Inhale through the nose, exhale out the mouth. Drawing the head to center, hands to center, and then let that go. We're just going to find our way to hands and knees. So finding your way over. Use a blanket under the knees if that's helpful. Some cat-cows here. Pull on the heart, inhale, exhale to round. Inhale, reach the heart forward, exhale to round. One more like that. Coming back to neutral, we're going to lift the right knee. Inhale, exhale, hug it forward. Inhale to lift, exhale, hug it forward. Inhale to lift, exhale, hug it forward. Now, just straighten through that right leg. Let's take the toes as far to the left as they'll go and look over the left shoulder and breathe there. Coming back to center with the leg. Lifting the leg, all 5 toes point to the ground. But now we'll begin to stack right hip on top of left. Toes point towards the long edge of your mat. And then back to toes pointing down. And if you're not sure, you can look under you and see if the toes are pointing straight down. And then stacking hip on top of hip, turning those right toes towards the long edge of your mat. One more time, hip lowers, and then stack the hip. Square the hips. One more time, bring the toes a little bit, any amount, to the left. And then we'll just see what it's like to bring top of the foot to the ground and slide that leg away from you to the left. You can walk your forearms to the left and breathe here into that side of the hip. Ribs might be on hip. Breathing there. Walking forearms back to center, taking that knee forward, finding a child's pose for a minute. So taking yourself back into a wide-kneed child's pose for 3 breaths. And then back up to hands and knees, a couple of cat-cows. Inhale the heart forward, exhale round the spine. Come to neutral, reaching that left leg up, inhale. Exhale, hug it under you. Inhale to lift, exhale, hug it in. Next time the leg is extended, reach it long and take it as far to the right as it will go. Look over your right shoulder. Breathing into that left side body. And then taking the foot back to center, toes are pointing straight down. Then we'll stack left hip on top of right, toes point towards the long edge of your mat. Square the hips, and then stack the hips. One more time, square the hips, and then stack the hips. Squaring the hips again, we'll take the toes as far to the right as you can. Top of the foot is down, and slide the leg more to the right. Walk your forearms a little bit to the right and breathe. Slowly rising back up to center, to hands and knees. You're just going to tuck your toes and find your way to down dog. And then begin to walk the feet in and the hands into the center of the mat till you're in a forward fold. So rolling up slowly, one vertebra at a time, head is the last to arrive. So I'm going to show you one option to do this pose, Ardha Chandrasana, at a wall. So you would have an expansive wall where you have some room. Having a block, or you could even put your hand on a chair if you want a higher place to put your hand, but I'm going to use a yoga block. Turn your toes that are closest to the wall, 90 degrees. And then bring your hand to the block at least a foot in front of the pinky toe. And the block is pretty close to the wall, but I don't have it touching the wall. You're going to begin to step your back foot in. And then as you lift your back leg, you can lean into the wall. So the hip can touch the wall, the shoulder can touch the wall, the back of the head can touch the wall, and you're flexing your foot. Even the heel of that upright foot can touch the wall. So you can breathe here and not worry so much about balance, but play with form. We'll come out of it, and then you would do the other side. So foot turning this way, block in front of the foot at least a foot or two. You can bring your back hand to your back hip, lift that back leg, and then begin to rotate. Open the shoulder, hip stacks on top of hip, and lift the arm. This is a lovely way to do the pose, to take the balance out of it. Just be sure that bottom foot is pointing straight forward. And then find your way down. Nicely done. So now we're going to make our way back onto our mats, onto hands and knees. So find your way to hands and knees, facing the long edge of your mat to start. You can have a blanket under the knees. And then just a couple cat-cows here. Coming to neutral in your own time, lift that right knee out to the side, and then maybe straighten the right leg. And you can place that right foot down. Press yourself up to gate position. We'll inhale, lift the arms up, and exhale, side bend. Breathing there. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, left hand comes to the mat or a block. Now this is a version of Ardha Chandrasana. We're going to lift that leg, that right leg. And then we can lift the arm and breathe here. You could stay like this, or you could bend the top knee and reach for the foot. Breathing there. Letting the leg go, and then circling it down. Just a cat-cow here. Inhale and exhale. Come to neutral and bring that knee back in. We'll try the other side. So just lifting that left knee out to the side and then reaching the leg straight out. We'll lower the foot to the mat. Go ahead and press yourself up to gate pose. Lift the arms and drawing left hand down the leg, right arm over ear, breathe. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, right hand comes to a block or the floor. And then you can play with lifting that leg, that left leg. It's very much like our Ardha Chandrasana, stacking the hips. You can stay like this, or you can bend that knee and reach for the foot or the ankle, and breathe into that. Letting that go, bring the foot to the ground, walking the hands forward. Inhale, cow pose, exhale, cat. Bringing the knee down. Nicely done. Now, finding your way to so that you're facing the front of your mat. We'll just find our way to down dog, tucking the toes, lifting the hips. You can pedal out the feet. Come forward to plank, please. Lower knees to the ground, chest and chin. Scrub through a low cobra. And exhale, press your way back to hands and knees. Just find a child's pose. Knees wide, big toes touching. Forehead can touch the mat. So breathing here in child's pose for a couple of breaths. Finding your way back up to hands and knees, tuck the toes, find your down dog. Lift your right leg, inhale. Exhale, bring it forward and step it through. Dropping the back foot to the ground, we're going to rise up to Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2. So this pose also requires some openness in the hips, like Ardha Chandrasana. So right here, we're opening the hips. You can bring your left hand to the back hip, right hand to the right thigh. Breathe there. Your torso is facing the long edge of your mat. And then lift your arms. Look over front middle finger. Shrug shoulders up to the ears. Let them settle down the back. Front palm tips up, tip back, peaceful warrior, big inhale. Exhale, forearm to thigh, top arm over the ear. Side angle pose. Tipping back again, straighten the front leg, big inhale. Reaching that arm forward, 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 and down to the leg or to the outside of the ankles for triangle pose. Breathing here. Bring the back hand to the back hip, please, and begin to bend the front knee. We're going to step the back foot in a little bit. Bring the block in front of the pinky toe. And stack hip on top of hip. Flex the left foot. You might lift the arm. Ground into the right heel. You might float your moon for a moment. And then we're floating back to Warrior Two. Straighten the legs. Turn the feet so that the toes are both parallel, facing the long edge of your mat. Clasp the hands behind your back. Lift your heart, big inhale. Start to come forward with a flat back and then fold. Breathing here. Hands to the floor or blocks. Inhale, flat back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. One more like that. And then walk your hands towards the front of your mat. Just for a moment here, turn the back toes in so that the back toes are pointing forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. One more like that. Begin to bend the front knee. Frame the front foot with your hands. Step it back to down dog. And then drop the knees, come to puppy pose. We can bring forearms to the ground, hips in the air. You might bring your hands up and clasp your hands. You could move your knuckles side to side, breathing there in puppy. Two more big breaths there. And then release your hands, please. Bring hands to the mat. Tuck the back toes. Lift the hips. Pedal the feet for a moment. And then find stillness in your down dog. Lift the left leg, please. Big inhale. Exhale, bring it forward and step it through. Step the back foot down and rise up. Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Shrug the shoulders towards the ears, let them settle down the back. You can, for a moment, bring your front hand to that left thigh, back hand to the right hip. Feel broad in the collarbone, and then lift the arms. Breathing here. Turn the front palm up, tipping back, peaceful warrior. Big inhale. Exhale, forearm to thigh, top arm over the ear. Tipping back, straighten the front leg. Big inhale. Exhale, reach the left arm forward and down to your leg or to a block on the outside of your ankle. Roll top shoulder open, lift the arm. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Back hand to back hip. Begin to step the back foot in. Draw the block, any height, diagonally in front of pinky toe. And then begin to bring weight into that hand and see what it's like to stack hip on top of hip. You can always come to a wall if this is not working for you. Otherwise, you could play with lifting the top arm. You could ground into the left heel and maybe get light in the left fingers, floating the moon. But eventually we'll float back to warrior 2. Straighten the front leg, parallel the feet, clasp hands, the other thumb on top, big inhale, exhale to fold. 3 big breaths there. Let the hands go, please. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. We're just going to begin to scoot the feet in a little bit. We're finding a squat, a malasana. A blanket behind the heels can be helpful if your heels don't touch the mat. You can be up here, like you're sitting on a bar stool, if there's any problem with the knees. Otherwise, we can come lower. Breathing here. Two more big breaths here. And then finding your way to a seat on your mat. Be sure it's a comfortable seat. So let's take one big breath in our comfortable seat. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, releasing the arms. We're going to find our way now onto our back with a strap. So be sure you've got some sort of strap, and then roll yourself down onto your back. You can slowly roll it down. Once you get there, you could hug the knees in, give them a squeeze, little rock side to side. But we're going to take the strap around the ball of the right foot. If you have a loop, you can use the loop, but I assume most of you will have two sides of a strap. So holding on to the two sides of a strap, breathing here. You can straighten the left leg if you like. Reach through the heels. Imagine the muscles of the leg want to move away from you as you're pulling the toes towards the nose. Now, before we open the leg up, I recommend having a block or a book near the right hip. Then take both straps into the right hand and start to open the leg out to the right. Toes can turn to the right slightly as you open the leg. Breathing here. Drawing the leg back up to center on your next inhale. Just begin to allow the leg to fall to the left. You could bring your right hand into your right hip crease. Once you feel sensation in that outer leg, you know you've gotten to the IT band. So you can just breathe there. Draw the leg back up to center, releasing the foot and let it lower down. We'll come to the other side. So bending the left knee, bring the strap around the ball of the left foot. Right knee could be bent or straight. Reach through the heels. Breathe here. And then draw both straps into the left hand. But before you do, you might move that block or book outside the left hip. And then both straps in the left hand and let the leg fall to the left, any amount. And breathe there. Drawing the leg back up to center, grab onto the strap with the right hand. Left thumb and left hip crease, draw it away from you. Draw the leg any amount to the right, but just a few inches perhaps. As soon as you feel the sensation in the outer leg, stop there and breathe. Draw the leg back up to center, bend the knee, release the leg back down next to the other leg. Just notice what you've done. Reach the arms overhead, big inhale, let it go out the mouth. You can rock forward and back if that's okay on your back. Rocking up to seated, and we'll find our comfortable seat. Allow yourself to settle. Let's bring our hands by our sides and take one big inhale. Reaching arms up, chin might lift, and then exhale, arms back down. Hands could rest on the thighs, palms face up. Just allow the eyes to close. Going inward again, noticing the breath. I'll read to you a poem by Rumi about the moon. I am a slave of the moon. Talk of nothing but moon, or brightness and sweetness. Other than that, say nothing. Don't tell of suffering. Talk of nothing but blessings. If you know nothing about them, no matter, say nothing. So as you begin to go inward here, perhaps just speaking that moon language as Hafiz mentioned in his earlier poem, to your heart, that unspoken language that is hard to define. Noticing your inhale, noticing your exhale. Noticing the effects of your practice. And as you continue dropping inward, I'm going to read to you one more poem. This is by Joy Harjo, Eagle poem. To pray, you open your whole self to sky, to earth, to sun, to moon, to one whole voice that is you, and know there is more that you can't see, can't hear, can't know except in moments steadily growing and in languages that aren't always sound, but other circles of motion. Like eagle that Sunday morning, over Salt River, circled in blue sky, in wind, swept our hearts clean with sacred wings. We see you, see ourselves, and know that we must take the utmost care and kindness in all things. Breathe in, knowing we are made of all this, and breathe, knowing we are truly blessed because we were born and die soon within a true circle of motion. Like eagle rounding out the morning inside us, we pray that it will be done in beauty, in beauty. You're welcome to stay in seated meditation, or you're welcome to make your way onto your back for your Shavasana, whatever feels more right to you in this moment. very slowly. Begin to deepen your breath. You might wiggle fingers and toes if you're in Shavasana, or take a full body stretch. If you're seated, you might take a little twist. To one side and then to the other. You're on your back, you can bend the knees and roll to one side, and then make your way up to a comfortable seat. Just join us palm against palm at the center of the chest. Bow your head to your heart. Please honor your practice today. Honor that you showed up on your mat. Perhaps to try some new things like the breath work and Ardha Chandrasana. And know that you're taking your practice off your mats. We've ignited our imaginations with the artwork that we've seen and the poetry. And your practice as well will be with you off your mat. Big inhale through the nose, let it go out the mouth. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining us today, and hope to see you very soon, maybe at the next Artful Movements or at School Street Yoga.
I hope you have enjoyed today's yoga program. If you would like to spend more time with this artwork, I encourage you to participate in another upcoming program, Artful Meditation and Expression. Be sure to like and follow us on all of our social media accounts at Colby Museum, and visit us at museum.colby.edu to stay updated with all of our digital museum at home programs. Take care, and we look forward to seeing you for our next Artful Movements.